When the layoff notice hit my desk at the age of 47, financially on paper, we appeared okay. But in reality, I was a bit terrified. I had no paycheck, had a mortgage, and a decade and a half to go before I could even touch that retirement money without a penalty. But here's the crazy thing. After 25 years in the corporate world, I didn't go back to the corporate world. Instead, I went to work on a farm stand, in a delivery vehicle, on a basketball court, and in a classroom. In this second video of Mastering the Middle, today I'm going to show you the exact math on how these side hustles grew our net worth to $1.5 million and our retirement savings to a cool $1 million. All while I was really technically unemployed. Let's get into it. So most people, when they get laid off, they do one of two things. They panic and they apply for jobs they hate, or they start drawing their savings to live. I refuse to do either. My strategy was simple: protect the nest egg. Because of things we did in our 20s, 30s, and into our 40s, we had $600,000 in retirement. If we didn't touch it and just let it sit in the market, it would grow. My only job was to find enough bridge income to pay our mortgage and buy groceries so that $600,000 could stay exactly where it was. And I didn't really need to replace 100% of my salary. I just needed enough to survive. Within the first year, I ended up replacing about 85% of my previous income. And that was by stacking 5 very different side hustles. Here's what the master the middle grind actually looked like. First, youth sports officiating. I got out on the courts and the ball fields that I once roamed as a player and then later on as a coach of my own kids. Umpiring and refereeing kept me active. And honestly, there's no better way to build thick skin than refereeing a 6th grade basketball game that means the world to those 11 and 12-year-olds. Second, the farm stand. I started a local farm stand. I sold surplus fruits and vegetables from my garden. Once I realized the demand for that stuff, I expanded a bit and I became a reseller of produce grown at other local farms. It really wasn't just about the money. It was about being visible in my community and building something from the ground up. Third side hustle was paid coaching. I took my years of experience, love of sports, and poured them into a few different paid coaching positions at a local school district. The fourth, Uber driving. The flexible schedule, the ability to punch in when I wanted, and the instant gratification of money hitting my bank account allowed me the opportunity to throw a few dollars towards our weekly grocery bill. And the fifth side hustle, substitute teaching. When the school year ramped up, I was in the classroom. At different times during my corporate career, I led various training initiatives and realized my love of teaching, training, and coaching. Always thinking in the back of my mind, man, I should have been a teacher. Substitute teaching was steady, reliable, and it kept the momentum going. It was actually this experience that eventually led me to a path of becoming a full-time teacher. Check out my last video where I expand on this journey further. Now, none of these paid what my corporate job did, but together they covered 85% of my bills. That was the win. Because those side hustles covered our life, we didn't have to sell a single share of our investments. We just left the money alone. Over the last 3 years, the market did the heavy lifting. our $600,000 grew to $1 million, simply because we had the discipline to pay my bills with this hustle money instead of retirement money. When you add in our home equity and other assets, that took our net worth from $1 million on the day I was fired to $1.5 million today. Again, just not even 3 years ago. Let's look at the compounding math again, because this is a part people miss. If I had started withdrawing just 4% of that $600,000 to cover the gap my layoff left, I wouldn't be sitting at $1 million today. I would have been selling shares when the market was down, which is the ultimate cardinal sin of investing. By using the Farmstand and the coaching to get back to that 85% income level, we only had to tighten our belts by 15%. We cut the fat. We stopped the subscriptions. We really watched where we shopped for groceries. We ate, stuff that we grew from the garden. That 15% sacrifice in our lifestyle, well, that resulted in $500,000 gain in our net worth over those 3 years. Think about it. Is a fancy car or a country club membership, is it worth $500,000 in 3 years? For most of us in the middle, the answer is a hard no. We are in the final sprint toward financial independence. This isn't the time to play it safe. It's the time to play it smart. Now, we do have to talk about the elephant in the room. Ego. When you've spent 20 years climbing a ladder and suddenly you're standing in a middle school hallway with a subfolder or blowing a whistle at a 5th grade basketball game, your ego is going to try to scream at you. It's going to tell you that you're overqualified or that people are looking down on you. I had to kill that version of myself. I realized that mastering the middle isn't about maintaining a title, it's about maintaining a legacy. I started seeing the Farmstand not as a step down, but as a startup. I saw officiating not as extra work, but as a way to stay sharp and stay active, stay in the game. When you stop worrying about how you look to your old coworkers on LinkedIn, you gain a superpower. The freedom to do whatever it takes to win. And for me, winning meant that $600,000 in my retirement account. It meant that stayed untouched and growing. I worked harder these last 3 years than I ever did in a cubicle. And I've never felt more secure. Now I created this channel, Master the Middle, to help people just like us navigate life, money, and career when you're right in the thick of it. You aren't your job title, you're your results. Hit subscribe. Let's keep building. I've also included links in the description to specific tools that helped me along the way to being a millionaire. Feel free to check those out for more tips and further advice. Hey, but before you go, I want to hear from you. I found my bridge income at a farm stand and on a basketball court, but I know there are 1,000 other ways to make the math work. If you were in my shoes tomorrow, laid off at 47, what is the one side hustle you would start to protect your retirement? Think about that. Leave me a comment. Maybe it's something you're already doing, or maybe it's a dream you've kept on the back burner while you've worked that 9 to 5. Drop it in the comments. I'm going to be down there responding to them, and I'm looking for new ideas also for future videos. Let's help each other master the middle. I'm Eric, and I'll see you next time.